feels young, but is starting to age. I'm talking about Giancarlo Stanton. Are people forgetting how good this guy is? I mean, is it out of sight, out of mind? Is he being is his inability to finish a full season being made too much of? Should he go back to just being Mike? Um, I've talked before about my love for players entering their age 27 season, especially being when the power surge really begins. This guy is now in his 27th season, so it's just mind-boggling to think what he could do based on what we think of when we think of Giancarlo Stanton. But surprisingly, he's never hit 40 homers in any season as a pro. And if you look, his 162 game average is barely 41 homers. So as much as we think of this guy as a huge power guy, he really hasn't translated as much as we want to think it has. So no one's doubting Stanton is really, really good, but is he more sexy than great? I mean, is he a great date or is he a great wife? And, there is a difference to that. So his ADP currently is 50th overall. He's the 8th outfielder being taken off the board. Is that, a little too high? Is that a little too rich for a guy like Stanton?
Yeah, I think he's still being drafted like he's the guy from 3 years ago that put up, that relatively big season when he played a whopping 141 games or whatever it was. If you look back in the last 5 years, since 2011, he hasn't had a single season, one season of like more than 140 games. He's hurt all the time, and it's not nagging injuries. He's getting hit with baseballs, he's breaking bones, getting hit in the face of the baseball. I mean, it's all this sort of wacky stuff year after year after year. And at the end of the season, it's like, maybe he helps you and your team is killing it up until June. July, he gets hurt. You lose him for a few months. I know I had a team like that this year. And then it's like, what do I do now? This is your second round pick, your first round pick, even if it's your third round pick. It's kind of tough to recover from that. And I think in our mind, he's just, when you watch him play, like you said, he's so it's sexy. He kills a baseball. He kills a baseball. Nobody hits a ball, it seems like, harder than he does, farther than he does. I mean, he's just, mammoth, the natural kind of power. He's a big guy, all that sort of stuff. But he's not playing in a great ballpark. The lineup, is better than it has been in previous years, but it's still not great. And he's still going like, he's a stud player. And
right.
There should be a discount this year. If he's a guy that's kicking around in the 4th round in one of my drafts, I would absolutely take a chance on him. If you're taking him in the 2nd round or early 3rd, I'm staying away from that. I don't know if he's
right.
I don't know if he's a top 40. I don't know if he's a top 40 draft pick. I really don't.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And one thing, not to get too off the topic, but people say these are freak injuries. They're not the same one. They're not, it's not a question of him per se or his physical makeup. I think of Jessica Alba in the movie Good Luck Chuck when I think of him, where she was just a klutz and just bad things. She just kept walking into things. It just kind of feels like that with Stanton. They might be freak injuries, but at what point is it, this is, I don't know. I don't want to label it that, but, anyway, you get the idea. I don't think he's the 8th outfielder that you should be drafting, though. So I do think Stanton is going a little too high for what you should be expecting from him. He's going to be really good if he plays and when he plays. But again, it's not so much about him playing or finishing a season. It's about, even if you look at his power numbers, they haven't been as good as, we kind of think they are, or it feels like they should be. So I would not saying stay away from Stanton. If he falls to you, great. But if you got to take him higher than he should be, which is where he's currently going, a little too rich for me. I think Ralph's agreeing with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that,
if he plays 150 games, though, you're going to look like a genius. The chances of him playing 150 games are slim to none, it seems.
Yep.